Hide your kids, hide your wives. Podcast week. It's the Too Much Dip podcast. We're out here podcasting. I'm Dave. I'm going to host. Joining me in studio, per usual, as some say, it's Dylan Chavere.
Podcast week snuck up on me this year. Was not prepared. Actually, I didn't know it was podcast week until you just said so. But I'm happy to be here and to celebrate the week of podcasting.
Yeah, that's essentially a week where we podcast.
Nothing else really changes.
Nothing really changes, but we just have a little label we slap on it. It's kind of fun. Joining us for this very exclusive week of Podcast Week content from Wisconsin, it's KJ. Hi, KJ.
Happy to be here, fellas. I'd like to go ahead and get rumors out of the way. As it is the time of year when trips are booked, plans are made, guys' trips occur. Some may remember from about a year ago, Dave and I went to Montana. There were rumors that, sleep cycles were interrupted by noises, by sounds, by snoring, things of that nature. After a short 7.5 month wait period from my original booking of the appointment, help is on the way. We'll say that. Doubt that it'll be here by the time of this year's trip, but it's been a long time just edging, just waiting for that to happen.
Pretend you're new here and you don't know at all what you're talking about. Why don't you explain?
There are a couple of things that Reggie White, the late, great Reggie White, and I have in common. Both resided, as he is now no longer with us, in the great state of Wisconsin. Both have in the past played football, and both are victims of the not-so-silent killer out there, sleep apnea. I'm not afraid or ashamed or embarrassed to say it. It's a result of many things. Could be hereditary, could be just having a thicker neck, likely due to years of sports and just being Mr. Thick over here. But, it makes for a very uncomfortable night's sleep when you've had a few brews. I don't have it so bad that it's every single night or, just every day of my life. But for things like guys' trips where you got a couple in the system, you're starting a lawnmower every night, and nobody wants that.
I shared a bed with KJ on this trip, and for one night, and I was worried about you because it is significant. But I will say, you're not the only friend of mine who has this issue. I would say half of my friends have this problem, and probably a quarter of them have been to like sleep centers to get fitted or checked out for masks or whatever the treatment is these days. I don't know, but I'm glad you're getting this addressed because I know it's not good for your sleep quality. It's certainly not good for your partner or your podcast partner's sleep quality, should he be in the bed with you.
It really, really goes to state just how much of an American hero you are for surviving Vegas. That's, without naming anyone else, that's really the accomplishment looking back at it.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Also was sneaky coming off the flu on that Dylan's bachelor party Vegas trip. Didn't know it at the time, but wasn't doing great.
I remember you almost had to miss the bachelor party because you were so sick, remember?
Yeah.
Tough run, man.
It was tough.
You pulled it out, and I appreciate you for that.
Oh, he did.
Did I pull it out on the trip?
Well, probably on the golf course.
Yeah, that's fair. That's not, I will say, we're referring to Paiute golf course outside of Vegas. Highly recommend. Not a good, well, let me put this differently. There's not a lot of tree cover. In fact, there's really none.
Not a good PP course.
So if you're gonna pull that thing out and PP, someone's probably gonna see it, whether it's an employee of the golf course or like somebody over 2 holes over, whatever.
The discussion of seeing pieces out on the golf course is now carried over from circling back to Too Much Dip.
That's just kind of what you're gonna get with Podcast Week, man. There's a lot of overlap when it comes to this specific week of podcasting.
It's really the juxtaposition of pieces and podcasts is what Podcast Week's all about.
Thank you for knowing that. Hey, follow us on social media, Too Much Dip Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. Got good stuff going there. And if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do it. We post the videos on there of the podcast. I think this is more of a visual podcast personally, but however you want to consume it, we just appreciate your patronage.
We do.
Did y'all see where people are mad at Baby Gronk's dad?
Yeah.
Did you know when you woke up this morning that we would talk Baby Gronk?
I had an inkling that might happen. Yeah.
And like, yes, obviously, like we're a little late on Baby Gronk getting rizzed up by Livy. Obviously, we're not here to talk about that. We're on our next shit, and this is the backlash against Baby Gronk Sr.
What does it mean for us that Baby Gronk's dad, Big Baby Gronk? What does he go by? What does it mean that hasn't reached out to us to get Baby Gronk on the pod? Does that mean we're small baller in the sports media industry?
We should reach out to him. Yes, it does. That's okay. Granted, we don't have a lot of sex appeal on this pod. No offense to you guys, but that's not what we're known for. I mean, it's part of it, but people are here mainly for the takes, not, our sex appeal, just our overall sexiness, things like that. But he is sliding into DMs, as you kind of alluded to. Athletes, Paige Spiranak, some other sports media,
various members
young
of
ladies,
the sports media.
Taylor Lewan, tackle from the Titans.
Yeah,
who I think wronged Baby Gronk's dad. I'll put that out.
How
there.
so?
He posted a screenshot of the DM, and maybe Paige Spiranak did it as well. But the DM was pretty basic. It said, "Are you ever in Dallas?" Back in November, and then in March we got a collab. Those were the two messages.
Yeah,
I don't think either of those are like particularly slimy. He wasn't offering up like, "Hey, for this fee," or anything overly desperate. I think that's pretty low level.
That's the one he sent to
And
Paige.
this is to Taylor Lewan, to a tackle.
No, he sent that one to I believe he sent that one to Paige.
He did send that to Paige.
Oh, that was to Paige. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I've got the article up, but the caption must have it wrong.
I believe the one he sent to Taylor Lewan was like, "Hey man, we don't need Will. Will Compton is his co-host. If you just want to do a one-on-one interview with me or with Baby Gronk, let's do it," or something like that.
Yeah, the way the media kind of sports media. Here I go putting on my my critic hat. The way they kind of positioned this when I was doing a little research for the show, I thought, oh no, this dude's getting exposed for being a creep in the DMs, and he's really not. I mean, he is being shameless. He is. I mean, you can criticize him a lot for the entire Baby Gronk thing, but as far as like DMing people go, it's pretty. What he's saying, like, yeah, it's not crazy that he would want to collaborate with a Paige Spiranak or other big personalities. Like, he's done it with Livy. She rizzed him up. You got to keep going.
Did she riz him up or did he riz her up?
That's a great question. I may have had it backward last week when I dropped it on the Circling Back podcast, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Somebody got rizzed up, and that's all that matters.
That's true.
He did commit to LSU.
I heard that the Drip King took a big L.
Yeah.
It's too bad.
I haven't heard from the Drip King. He's been kind of off the grid. It's probably a lot. When you're a highly successful lacrosse player and you lose your online social media girlfriend to
a child.
Right. A child whose name is Baby. First name Baby, last name Gronk. Then that's a tough thing, pal.
Sure is.
This story has gone on way long. It's gotten way more action than I thought it would. I thought it would be done last week, and here we are breathing life into it. But I just wanted to say, people are mad at Baby Gronk's dad. And I also learned Baby Gronk and his dad, they're DFW people. They're Dallas-Fort Worth.
I talked recently about getting Michael Block fatigue. I have Baby Gronk fatigue now. It's enough. The term Riz, I've heard it enough.
Who's the new Baby Block?
I don't need to hear Rizzed up anymore. I'm just kind of over it. But
put it on the Riz.
Baby Gronk's dad is going to make sure that Baby Gronk doesn't go away. I know that. Anyway,
we don't have to spend.
I think I knew he was from Dallas. I will add that at some point in time there was a Pro-Am event held at like the Las Colinas Golf Club where the Four Seasons in Dallas is located. They occasionally have like LPGA events there now, previously the Byron Nelson.
Back when it was still good.
Back when it was still good, exactly. Amongst Tony Romo, I think Alfonso Ribeiro, I don't know, whatever, Carlton from Fresh Prince, and a couple other, I think Larry the Cable Guy. Baby Gronk was one of the notable celebrities that you could be playing next to at that tournament. So it's slimy, but hey, it seems to be working. So
like I said previously,
chase that money
on this podcast or another. Ever since Baby Gronk decommitted from Texas, he's just been dead to me. So I didn't really pay attention.
Well, I didn't want to bring that up.
Yeah,
there's the truth. I guess okay. I missed that note. Okay,
I appreciate your honesty.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we begin? We've got a big show here. We got to talk LIV. We got to talk U.S. Open. We got to talk Canadian Open. Didn't think we'd be saying that, but here we are. I know KJ was dialed. KJ, you're basically in Canada right now.
I suppose I am the closest to boots on the ground for the RBC Open. Let's start with Michael Block. I know Dylan said he was blocked out, but hell of a 2 days at the Open for the guy.
I don't think it was. I think he struggled mightily.
Well, we'll move on.
Baby Block is just committed to playing. No, I'm just kidding. We should parody that.
Did Block play at the Canadian Open?
Yes.
Okay. He did for 2 days.
I actually missed that.
I think he shot a 80, and then he cleaned it up with like a 71 the second day, but missed the cut.
He wouldn't have been surprised had he gone out there and shot like 58 or 59. He's done it before.
Well, if he had a little bit more length, then he'd be as good
he's stupid.
He'd be as good as anybody.
Oh, dude.
Stupid.
Can you imagine? Stupid.
Speaking of starting off Thursday rough, 74 on Thursday for one Nick Taylor, somebody who I was wholly unaware of.
You weren't in on Nick Taylor before yesterday?
I mean, I know Tommy Fleetwood, and I don't know why, because he hasn't won. I don't know, what was it? Maybe
Ryder Cup.
No, there was something where he came in second, and maybe it's to Brooks. U.S. Open, maybe 2017, 2018, or something like that, where he was in tough contention to win, and I think Brooks got the dub. And maybe it was the long hair. For some reason, I was like, oh, Tommy Fleetwood. That's a name I'll remember. And he's kind of had that Ricky Fowler minus any of the cachet type career where he's never really winning, always up there. But I thought yesterday was going to be his day. It was not.
Yeah. Tommy, I'm a noted Tommy Fleetwood guy. I hear he's a very nice guy. I know when he comes here to play the Dell match play, damn, which isn't going to happen anymore. That fucking sucks. Well, when he would come here to Austin Country Club, I had firsthand accounts of how gracious he was to like people who went out there and followed him around practice rounds and stuff. Seemed like a really good dude. And he's got the best flow on tour, hands down. And that is part of it. It is me kind of fetishizing his beautiful head of hair as someone whose hair, it's not as beautiful, but it's beautiful in its own way.
It's beautiful to me.
Thank you. Hence me wearing a hat every time we do the show. So yeah, I was pretty upset yesterday. And all Tommy Ladd had to do was birdie 18, which is a par 5 and very, very gettable. And instead he didn't. He parred it. And we had a 4-hole playoff. And Dylan, come full circle here. You can kind of relate to sinking maybe not a 72-foot putt.
Mine was a little bit longer, but 72 is
yours is like 140
still
feet.
Really impressive. Yeah, I know exactly what that feels like.
I mean, you got basically the same reaction from
everyone
the boys.
Watching you, and your putt has to go in, and you just absolutely fucking sink it. 72 feet. That's a hell of a way to finish a tournament.
Yeah. I was pretty gutted for Tommy Ladd.
Can you think of the numbers? I was going to say, can you think of the numbers that the video that we put out after that would have done? I know we're a little bit blocky here, but I've got y'all clear. That video would have done if I would have form tackled Dylan's friend with the good hair the way that old buddy with the champagne got hit.
Just suplexed him into the green.
Couple things here. Did you just work another Michael Block reference into the show? I don't know if that was intentional or not.
No, not intentional.
Randy, get us the Adam
I'm too
Hadwin
busy
video.
like mentally high stepping because it was in fact the 18 U.S. Open where Fleetwood came in second to Koepka.
Everyone is very good pull, KJ. Everyone's already seen this video 100 times, but it's worth watching again. This is the best video I've seen. This is courtesy of No Laying Up. I don't know where they got it, but you see Adam Hadwin, a fellow Canadian, celebrating, and the security guard just hitting him with, you know what? The guy's doing his job. He didn't know.
Yeah.
He didn't know.
I mean, if you don't know who the man is charging you or charging the winning golfer, play it safe is probably what's going through his head. He didn't know that was another famous golfer himself who was playing in the tournament, right? Or was he just there as a spectator? I assume he was playing.
Yes. All the Canadians.
He's Canadian, yeah.
All the Canadians were ready for this to happen. And you had Mike Weir down there. You had Adam Hadwin, who, yes, and as KJ mentioned, does also have great hair.
To be fair, Adam Hadwin has a hoodie on. He doesn't look like he just played golf.
There's
so
there was
honestly
no badge or anything.
Yeah. So I get it. You got to know who Adam Hadwin is if you're running security at a Canadian golf tournament.
If I'm that security guard, though, I'm just kind of like, and they bring me in, they're like, hey, so what happened? You're like, oh, sorry, I didn't know who Adam Hadwin was.
Just doing my job. He's not a no.
He's not. And especially if you follow golf in Canada, you know Adam Hadwin. Adam Hadwin's a name.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's had some good years on tour.
I don't know how much of security guards training is. They're looking at
caddies,
flashcards of
no, that should be part of
shots of players just so we can identify all of them. But a tough look for him. But again, the guy was just doing his job.
I can't wait for Randy or Cool Adam to cut the inevitable clip of that and juxtapose it with the celebration on the 18th hole, the playoff hole at Dylan's bachelor party, in which he sunk the aforementioned putt. And I think I hit a modified gritty. I think Flounder just came out of nowhere. Just a good time.
Flounder's high stepping.
Dave's version of the gritty.
I don't know what that was. That was a guy who didn't want to mess up the greens.
Mm-hmm.
Good times.
It was beautiful. I didn't catch it live, but the entire gallery dropping "O Canada," even though it's slightly spare as an anthem, was a pretty cool moment. Getting to hear that was infinitely better than Jim Nance's forced call at the very end. So it did help me contextualize like how big of a deal the win was, because I'd seen the gallery chanting or singing "O Canada" on social media. That's what made me tune in to be able to catch the final putt live. So it was kind of cool little deal for the RBC Open.
Did Adam Hadwin getting smoked?
Canadian Open.
Did that kind of cuck Nick Taylor? Because I feel like all of that's become the subplot is him actually winning, and all you're seeing now is on all of the golf accounts, even like the tour accounts, is this dude just getting wrecked.
Makes it memorable. I think I think of the Rugi hit. Batista Rugi hit.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Rangers lost the game, but that's the subplot.
No one cares about who won that game.
And then they went on to lose quite dramatically in the playoffs to the Blue Jays. Not a fun team.
At least the crowd chanted USA.
That bat flip hadn't landed yet.
We did chant USA. I say we. I was at Pine House Pizza watching it at the bar. That's where I was in life. Oh, goodness. Where are you guys at in life? I'll tell you where I am. I'm at check my email to make sure I didn't spend too much money. That's where I'm at. And that's why I am a big, big fan of Rocket Money. We all do it. Do you discover any subscriptions when you checked it out? Because I know I did.
Yeah. It found, I want to say, $70-ish of subscriptions that I was no longer using at the time.
Per month.
It's free money.
It's insane. We're big Rocket Money fans here. It's a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. Get an email today. It's like you spent X amount more or X amount less than last week. That's good to know. That's something I was not really thinking about before Rocket Money, but here I am. Stop throwing your money away. Cancel unwanted subscriptions and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/bang. Rocket Money also helps you manage all your finances in one place and automatically categorize your expenses so you can easily track your budget in real time and also get alerted if anything looks off. Over 3 million people have used Rocket Money, including everybody on the show, saving the average person up to $720 a year. You could do a lot with $720 a year, let me tell you. So stop throwing your money away. Cancel those unwanted subscriptions. Manage expenses. Go to rocketmoney.com/bang. That's rocketmoney.com/bang. We can kind of circle back to golf. I don't know if you guys have any U.S. Open picks. Did that sneak up on you? I feel like the U.S. Open snuck up on people.
Yeah. Didn't know it was this week until you told me, I think Friday, that it was this week. So.
Yeah, Friday in our show meeting, you breaking that news to us as we were like talking a little bit about the Canadian Open, a little bit about LIV Golf, which we still really haven't even had a chance to fully absorb here, I don't think. We didn't do that on air last week, did we?
We did not. I don't know if you have any knee-jerk LIV takes you'd like to toss out, KJ, but I will give you the platform.
We can get there. We'll do the U.S. Open first, I guess. The calendar of majors and its shifting nature, I struggle with. I know that it was more regular pre-pandemic, but I do hope that if anything changes in the future of golf, it's very easy to understand and know when the Masters is. It's very easy, I guess, to have an idea as to when the PGA Championship will be. Actually, that's incorrect. I'm saying the Open, the British Open, or the whatever, the other Open. But
I like the
PGA
other
Championship and U.S. Open. Yeah, you think they would love that if I just called it the other Open always?
Dude, Tommy Fleetwood's rolling around right now. He hates that.
The two Open. I just struggle ever to pinpoint joke? When these two. Whatever.
Randy, did you hear what I just heard?
Yeah, I heard that. KJ tried sneaking that one in there, just sneaking it in the back door there.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. Right. Thank you.
Let's go. You give the guy the mic, and unbelievable. I'm riding with Hovland.
Anyways, it did sneak up.
I'm riding with Hovland. Give me Hovland. I think he is plus 1580. Okay, good. Hey, good value in that pick. A good value pick. Who you guys like?
Ooh, you said Hove, huh? There's no surprise there. Let me go. I don't know.
You just got to pick a golfer.
Scheffler.
Okay.
I know that's a lame ass pick.
He's the odds-on favorite. No, dude, I almost went Scotty, and it's boring. It's the chalk, but
if he doesn't win, he's going to be top 3.
If he does not win, it's because he's not putting.
Mm-hmm.
We'll put it that way. KJ.
Coco Gauff had a rough French Open, but I think by the U.S. Open, she'll be back in the thick of things.
Let's see. We're not.
I think Jokic. We're not doing that U.S. Open. Shit. Give me Morikawa. I really wanted to lean Brooks to keep it rolling, or maybe even Southern California native Sahith Theegala breaks through and gets his first major.
That's a good
keep
pick,
an eye
KJ.
out.
KJ, I like that. Hold on, what are the odds?
They're in Los Angeles.
I'm trying to find them odds. Theegala is plus 9,200. Okay, good value pick, KJ. Great value pick. Are you going to sprinkle a little bit? I think you should.
That's worth going south of 45 minutes to put something down. I'm getting plus 11,000 over here. So
get your beak wet. Back to LIV real quick. Today we finally had the congressional inquiry. We have Senator Richard Blumenthal. I call him Dickie Blooms.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've always called him. He's launching a probe into the bombshell PGA LIV golf deal with, quote, concerns about Saudi Arabia's role. We're looking into the structure of this deal. We're looking at the PGA's entity and how they're formatted as a nonprofit. And this thing is obviously far from done. That's not been a secret, but the subpoena power of the Senate is quite vast, and this is going to get pretty ugly, I think. And I think it's going to be one of those things where every week we could talk more about this, but it's going to be so legalese and boring. It's like, what do we even do?
Golf is such
Well, we missed.
interesting place right
Go ahead.
now. No, KJ, go. That's all I had to say.
I was going to set the table really quick that this dropped on Tuesday of last week.
The LIV deal.
So as a show, we have not, I mean, not like we're breaking the news to anybody, but we've not even given initial feedback or thought on, oh shit, this is happening. I know y'all have probably discussed it on Circling Back, I imagine. Everyone's beat it to death over the last week, but I do think it would be fair to the audience just to at least state your initial gut reaction once here for the Too Much Dip Nation.
Okay. Real quick, I think, I mean, generally speaking, it sucks, but a lot of it sucks because the more I learn about it, the more I'm like, man, they could have done this years ago, the PGA Tour, and not had to partner with the PIF, the Saudi Arabian fund. So, yeah. And then the biggest thing to me, and this will shock no one, is just the fact that, yes, a year ago, a little over a year ago, you had Jay Monahan sitting next to Jim Nance and invoking the uber force field of the 9/11 families in his opposition to LIV and saying, you'll never have to apologize for playing on the PGA Tour. Of course, the implication being, you're going to have to apologize for playing on LIV because, you know, the 9/11 things
Right.
like that. And then just the complete 180, which, you know, situation on the ground changed. I just don't see how the PGA Tour would have been caught off guard by this. And by this, I mean, realizing that Saudi Arabia has way more money to spend on litigation than you, because you are a tax-exempt nonprofit, and they are the most oil-rich country in the world. So, yeah, man, their coffers are a little bit more full. That's not a surprise. But the fact that it got to this point, it's weird. And just like the botched PR rollout afterward was it. I tried to watch it objectively, and I couldn't believe how many times people were just going on camera and just eating shit and looking utterly unprepared to answer questions that were obviously going to be asked.
Pretty shocking how just terribly handled this was by the PGA Tour. Jay Monahan looks like a total clown. He has to eat his words. He spent so much time, so much energy just trashing LIV and everything they stood for, and where the origin of the money that was funding it. And for decent reason, I guess, but to do what you can't beat them, join them, basically is what they said at the end of the day. And you're right, he was ill prepared to answer any question that was thrown his way. The players just kept pushing the company line of like, I just want to talk about golf, and it's not about the money, or it's not about like where the money comes from. It's all bullshit. The PGA Tour looks like a complete joke right now.
Any sympathy for Rory?
Yes, absolutely.
Why?
Because he was the face of the tour against LIV for a long time. Now he kind of quieted down over the last month or so, but he was adamantly against it. He was a company man, and he didn't know about this. None of the players did. And yeah, I think he kind of feels like he's been, I think his words, a sacrificial lamb on this. He's got way more haters than he did before. I can tell you that. And yeah, I do feel bad. And it was weird watching him in his press conference. He was kind of coming to terms with like, hey, this ultimately may be like a better thing for golf, but how we got here is really, really ugly.
I still want to hear from someone who stayed loyal to the PGA Tour for principled reasons. They're like, okay, I understand that there's a bigger bag waiting for me at LIV, but I don't want to play for those people. I don't want to play for that money. Therefore, I'm sticking with the PGA Tour so I can feel better about what I do for a living. Now, if they stick to professional golf as their career, they're being forced, basically, to play for the PIF.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Like, what do they have to swallow their pride just because there's a big paycheck for them?
Because what else? They have no other tour to play
exactly.
on.
That's my point.
I think Rory's the guy that you're like. I don't know. He's either gone up to that line or he's said as much. He's the guy who's been riding for it and has at least on the surface, been doing it under the guise of ethical reasons.
Yeah.
He also did field the question of should there be any remuneration or like reward or true up for the guys that stayed, quote unquote, stayed loyal to the PGA. And his initial response was, yeah, but of course. And that's a simple answer, but it's not that simple to execute. To pull off, like, how does that work is the question. To which my initial thought is, well, we're talking about a $3 billion bag of money. You could figure it out if you really wanted to. But also, too, I kind of feel like we saw enough memes of Succession and this announcement being put side by side just due to the timing. But there was a lot of like crossover of like, you kind of have to live with the decisions you made. No pun intended there, but like, I don't feel bad for anyone on any side of this. Like, decisions were made. It's ugly. The guys that got paid, good for them. I don't think they owe anyone anything because their names were dealt with over the last year. I don't think that the guys that stayed necessarily deserve anything additional. Maybe you could convince me that, like, you know, guys like Rory aren't at risk, but like, I don't know. It's kind of one of those things when you talk about, do you want to pay somebody more or give them perks like PTO? I feel like you got to be looking in the manner of like, what else can we provide advantage wise that would help acknowledge this? Because I don't think cutting a check to these players to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars makes sense at all. They stayed, they made themselves eligible for other sponsorships and engagements and interviews, and they had this idea in their head. Great. But you also made that decision like that. You can't get both.
Yeah. The way I look at the guys who did take the LIV bag, there's basically three categories. You have the Brooks camp, someone who I put Phil in this camp too, just because of his age, but it's like, okay, well, Brooks was worried about his health and the longevity of his career. And it's like, dude, he had some pretty serious injuries, didn't know what the rest of his career was going to look like. So he took the bag. Then you've got DJ, who just straight up said, yeah, I'm getting paid a lot of money to play less golf, to work
Maybe
less.
Cam Smith right there with him.
Yeah, and I'm like, you know what? I respect the hell out of your honesty. And then you have the Brysons, who are still going out there and trying to say, oh, well, you know, the most, we're just trying, you know, this is a play to grow the game around the world. And he just looks so, and he did tacitly acknowledge that 9/11 was a thing that in fact happened.
Bryson said, look, I know that 9/11 was terrible.
It was bad, Dylan.
It was bad, but it was over 20 years ago. It's time to move on. Like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Families of those victims aren't ready to just move on from that, buddy.
Especially when they were actually used as a play by Jay Monahan in this.
Right.
But yeah, so with those three guys, it's like I have Bryson. I'm gonna always kind of hold ill will towards just because of that stuff. Brooks, I came to like Brooks a lot more after Full Swing. I still have a lot of issues with him. And DJ is DJ.
What about your Harold Varners and like that next tier down to where like Harold Varner, I think, is above some of the other players on the list where they may have been at risk or like hanging around and being competitive in the PGA just wasn't on the table for them. But they're also not the needle movers, so to speak, in LIV either.
I put Harold.
It was a
Varner
clear, sensible decision to make that move for them.
No, I put him in that Brooks camp, and that like he was just like, look, because he was pretty honest about it. He's like, I'm trying to set my family up. I respect people that are forthright on that. It's the people that just won't come out and say it, but whatever. None of it's gonna matter. Hopefully this thing's done in the next year. Otherwise, God, this thing's gonna drag out and it's gonna suck, and we're literally gonna sit in our Friday morning meeting and be like, do we want to do this? Do we want to talk about
new update?
We want to talk about Nancy Pelosi grilling, or I don't know, you know, somebody got smoked in front of a congressional subcommittee. Oh my God.
Okay.
What a beating. Oh yeah.
I would watch it.
Yeah, I bet you would. AOC
Last
too.
thing, really, really quick, that I kind of was annoyed about is immediately they're like, LIV players are still ineligible for the Ryder Cup. And I'm like, that's the shit that I'm so over. Like, that part of it, that stuff needs to go away. Like, I don't think anybody wins, especially after the fact that $3 billion is just dropped on the PGA. Like, they're going to ultimately benefit. But then to like continue these like political moves of this player's ineligible because of this and this one's not, like, for world ranking points, Ryder Cup, you want the best players that are available to be present and eligible. Everything else should come secondary.
Yeah, and to be clear, you're going to get Brooks. Brooks is already qualified basically for the Ryder Cup, like on points. So you're getting Brooks either way. I don't know. What about these other guys?
And maybe I misread it, but I felt like the Ryder Cup said something of to the degree of like still not eligible, but whatever. We've got a while. That's not until September.
Cool. Man, that was a lot of time on golf. I guess we're gonna have to talk about the NBA.
It was a big week.
It was a big week. This thing dropped on it was Tuesday. We got to talk about it. We had to do it to him. Are you guys more stoked for Denver to close it out tonight, or Adam Silver dropping that jaw news here this week after this thing's done?
Yeah, the Denver win just feels inevitable at this point. So, yeah, let's get it over. Let's get it out of the way so we can get to the good stuff.
You know, I don't know if you guys watched much of Game 4, but I think where Miami lost it was by allowing Jokic to score, I believe, 23, 24 points instead of 40 plus.
Yeah.
That's where they really messed up.
They didn't listen to too much depth because you gave them
the blueprint.
Exactly.
We had to do it to him. We gave it to him right there. I mean, Spoelstra's a great coach, but like, dude,
the formula is right in front of your face.
Yeah, like you don't have to be on deep into the analytics to see that, man.
I don't know why, but I'm kind of partial to championships won on home courts and home fields. Like, my brain otherwise just obsesses with the logistics in between, like the celebration there on the court, the flight celebration, the arrival at the airport, and the welcoming party, and then then they're showing shots of the team's like home base watching in an arena. I hate all of that. I want to see them win on their home court. I want to see like fans refusing to leave, wanting to take every picture, people grabbing confetti. Like, I want them to win in Denver if that's going to be the outcome.
Yeah, I think back to the Mavs title. Of course I do. But that was in Miami. And I did kind of love that. Because I didn't feel bad because I wouldn't have been at that game had it been in Dallas, and I would have probably been able to go, but probably couldn't have afforded it at the time. And then the fact that it was in Miami and you got to watch all the Heat fans be sad, and then you had the club LIV, coincidentally, afterward with Lil Wayne, Birdman, Dirk, and the gang. You had those photos drop. So that was really fun. Now I would like them to win at home. I have nothing against Nuggets fans. It's been a long time coming. Never won a title, and here they are. And that's a really fun team, a really good team. And I'm kind of scared because I think they're going to run the West for at least the next 2 or 3 years. So
they're very good.
Yes, they are.
I will not force a Chris Anderson joke in there.
Oh, that Birdman.
It was different Birdman.
Different set of issues there.
But we will get jaw news, although another Western Conference young rising star from the same draft, can't recall the year, ? What year were they drafted? 2018, 2019? Zion and Ja.
Oh, Zion.
Who stolen the headlines of
year
the
after
last
Luka,
week.
I believe. Yeah, I honestly like the Zion thing. If you take a day off and just don't go get online and look up what's going on Twitter, you're going to miss a lot. And it's almost too much to rebound from because he's, so to speak, he's going through it. And this all started, he made the mistake that many people make, and he attended a gender reveal. You can't do that.
I missed this part of it. That's how this thing got rolling.
did
Pretty
a
much.
gender reveal with a young lady who I believe he claims is his girlfriend. And that was news to Mariah Mills. Mariah, Morihah. Not that I've searched her or anything, but I can confirm per TMZ that her Pornhub searches have spiked.
That would make sense.
She's involved in the adult industry in some capacity, does some modeling, maybe some OnlyFans stuff. The Snapchat looks like it's really popping. I'm not on Snap, but that's just what the kids are telling me. And she was not happy, and she was pretty much tweeting nonstop throughout the weekend, just dragging this man's good name through the mud, which is a tough scene.
I believe other women have since come out too.
They have.
Saying similar things. Yeah. Look, what a mess. Zion, he more than one porn star from what I understand.
I think that's the case. I'm not familiar with the other one. I guess I'm gonna have to do some research for next week.
Okay, sounds good. Let us know what you find, Dave.
Yeah, I will. I'll text y'all.
Okay.
Looks good. It looks good. Where are we?
KJ, where have you been?
I was just opening up
How many
another
tabs
tab
do you
real
have
quick.
open right now? Okay.
I closed it out. The beauty of this, as with anything that ever happens on the Bird app, is when somebody tweets through it, I don't care what the topic is, they could be locked out of their house. It could be something as boring as that. But if you get to like 6 or 7 tweets and you're clearly having not a meltdown, but like you're completely in your bag and in your feelings about it, it becomes just the best amount of entertainment, especially when you're like fully self-aware of the attention and you're retweeting replies and you add on all of the layers of this, an adult model or, adult actor, an NBA superstar, a pregnancy. The other SIGA involved is also online and they could be added. Like, it checked so many boxes to where it got messy very quickly, but it was very, very watchable. And I don't know. I was very reckless with the share button as Mariah was going through it.
Do y'all think there's a chance that Mariah will rizz up baby Gronk before the week's over? Have you thought about it at least?
I don't think that's probably not happening. She's still reeling from the Zion news.
What if baby Gronk steals Mariah from Zion?
That I would say that's illegal because he's a child.
I know, then just platonic.
Oh, yeah, that's possible. Probably not happening, but
it would be on Big Baby Gronk. Is that what we decided on?
Big
Baby Gronk's best interest to slide into those DMs right now because she's got a lot of eyeballs.
You got to strike while the iron's hot.
You have to.
Yeah.
And if we know anything, this guy knows marketing.
Mm-hmm.
What do we want to do next? We want to just get this Stanley Cup thing over with. Speaking of closeouts, that's tomorrow, right?
That's so rude. Yeah.
No, I mean,
tomorrow.
We're ready to tie a bow in the season. We're going to do it with the NBA tonight. We can do it with the Stanley Cup tomorrow.
Yeah, let me talk about Game 4 real quick.
Fun game.
It was a fun game. I watched it with my father. My father, also a Texas guy, Southeast Texas, not a hockey guy. That's pretty much why I didn't grow up a hockey guy. I've been getting him into hockey a little bit. We watched a lot of Game 4 together. The last couple minutes of the game was pretty exciting and also very confusing for someone who doesn't really understand hockey. So Vegas is up 1.
Mm-hmm.
About 3 minutes left. I say, all right, look, Florida's about to pull their goalie to get an extra skater out on the ice. And he was like making sense of how all that works. He's like, okay, so I was like, yeah, they're basically sacrificing defense for offense right now. Crunch time, they got to get a goal. He's like, okay. He's like, all right, so it's now on the ice, it's 6-on-5, basically.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, okay. Someone for Vegas commits a penalty. There was delay a game. Forgot who it was.
Put it up in the stands from his own
Put it
zone.
up in the stands. So
that's one of the most annoying penalties your team can take.
So I'm like, Dad, okay, now it's going to be 4-on-6 on the ice because the guy, he put it up in the stands. He's like, you can't do that. It's called delay a game. And he's like, okay, why is that a penalty? I was like, okay, let's just watch. There's a lot of action. Let's just keep watching. A lot of action going on. Someone from Vegas breaks a stick. I was like, all right, so it's basically like 6 on 3.5 now because one guy doesn't have a stick. He's right in front of the net playing defense, no stick. It's like, okay, I don't know what's going on. And then winding down, a few seconds left, and there's like a scrum by the goal. They try to put one in, they didn't get it. A huge, massive fight breaks out right at the end of the game. Clock hits 0. Fight. I mean, it's like 4 fights in one, basically. It's just a big scrum. He's like, oh my gosh, this is chaotic. Then the Florida fans, start throwing the rats out on the ice.
Disgusting.
My dad's like, what the fuck is going on here?
Throwing trash on the ice.
Like,
That's such a bad look. They should be ashamed of themselves, should lose the team.
You're right. He's like, why are they throwing rats on the ice?
Us.
Is I don't know the answer to that one, but the other stuff I can explain for you. So it was kind of fun being like the guy who knows a little bit about hockey, explaining to a guy who knows nothing about hockey. And it was a chaotic 2 to 3 minutes there, but it was a lot of fun.
Were the rats symbolic of the writer's strike? Were they trying to show support?
There you go.
It was a hockey game, so I'd probably not.
Okay.
I don't know the significance of the rats.
We don't mess with scabs.
Actually, I could probably look it up real quick, but I'm going to keep not knowing for the time being.
I didn't pick up that they were throwing rats. I thought it was just trash, beer bottles.
They were throwing both, but rats. They bring rats to every game.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's their bit.
Yeah.
Is that like remember
Similar
the rally
to
squirrel?
octopus.
I don't know.
Throwing an octopus. That is so. What a weird bit.
Okay, that was a critical season for Florida to lay groundwork for one of the organization's long-standing traditions. Its fans throwing plastic rats on the ice to celebrate goals of all things. Began during the opening game of that season when Florida played at Miami Arena. That's what a quick Google search got me. So, kind of unclear still, but
the old rat trick.
Yeah. Then there was that great shot. There was a great shot of a helmet turned upside down on the ice with a toy rat right next to it that a lot of people screamed.
I saw that picture, and the first thing I thought was, man, this is all of us in 2023, right? Like, what's going on? KJ, what do you think is going on?
It was a whole mood. Really excited for hockey to get to their off season.
We got to see what these stars are going to do. We're going to buy out Suter. What's the deal?
Let me enjoy this.
Dude,
Stanley Cup.
I have no issues with the Knights winning. They are the best team. This is not a fluke. They are very, very good.
Poor Jack Eichel is he's just getting beat up, man. He took a puck right off the side of the neck the other night.
Ooh.
It was ugly looking, but he got back in the game after going to the locker room for a little bit.
Do you think about that anytime a puck goes out to the point and they rip a slap shot? Do you think about like
every single time that there are multiple people around the goal and someone hits a slap shot from 20, 30 feet out? I'm like, I just cringe. Like that could hit someone in the fucking teeth, could hit him in the Adam's apple. This could absolutely just take somebody out.
The Adam's apple is the one for me that scares me. Teeth are replaceable.
It seems just so reckless and so dangerous. I don't understand how these guys don't wear the full cage over their face. It's just like, I guess it's just a pussy move or something, but you can call me whatever you want.
Wow.
I'm caged up.
KJ, do you have any non-cuck takes? I don't know. This guy likes to protect his face.
I wasn't trying to cuck hockey. I mean it in the same way that I'm ready for the NBA Finals to be done. It's the Golden Knights are very good. It's very weird turning on a hockey game and being like, oh shit, I missed the first 10 minutes. They've got 3 goals, and it's happened almost every game.
Yeah,
not for game 3, but whatever. Like they've earned it. They're very good.
Was all set to nestle in, and then I saw 3-0 when I checked, and I was like, eh. I mean, they obviously made it interesting. I watched the third period, but
going back to Vegas,
Knights are they're a mentally tough team, man. Like what they did to the Stars in that game 6 in Dallas, and then what they did there in a must-win game for the Panthers, pretty impressive.
You got to think going back to Vegas, having Salt Bay in the house, it's just game over.
Ooh.
For game 5.
All I'm saying is it's the first team to 4, KJ. Doesn't matter how you get there. That's what a lot of people have said. A lot of people have said that. Man, I pretty much hung out at my house exclusively in Row gear all weekend.
Oh, you're talking the Academy clothing.
Academy Sports and Outdoors, their exclusive line, Row, ROW. It's a collection of on-trend closet staples made for whatever you're up for. I was rocking the Atom shorts all weekend. They're very, very comfy.
I rotated. I have 3 pairs, and I ran them back in 3 consecutive days last week. And I'm not ashamed to admit that. I love them so much.
Yeah, it won't weigh you down with loud neons, oversized logos and practical fabrics. Row includes a classic color palette and inclusive tailored fit that's always on trend and versatile enough for errands, dinner, or a low-key evening. If you're me, just walking around the neighborhood, putting out a vibe, walking the dog, letting the kid push the scooter around, having fun in my Row gear. Collection features shorts, pants, joggers, polos, t-shirts, and long sleeves in different mix and match colorways with sizes ranging from small to 2XL. What are you? You large? What are you rocking?
I'm a large boy through and through. They live in the earthy tones, which I love.
Yeah.
Very earthy.
The tonal palette,
Different
man.
shades of greens and
It's
browns
subtle.
and grays.
It's subtle, but it's not boring.
Ooh.
If that makes any sense. It's the juxtaposition
So
is what I'm trying to tell you.
Also,
Dylan.
their shirts are not nipply.
Sweat wicking fabrics. They've got hidden pockets, tailored inclusive fit. Love it all, man. Check out Row. Great Father's Day gifts, by the way. They got the workout stuff. They got the hanging out stuff, the lounge stuff, all of it, man. Go to academy.com/row or just go to an Academy Sports and Outdoors location near you. I would just go there anyway because that's just a fun store to be in. You walk in Academy, you're not going to have a bad time. You're going to find something you're interested in.
You catch me walking through that sneaker section, it's over.
Yeah. I've seen your golf shoes. I know your game.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
That's Row by Academy. Check it out. Tie a bow on American Gladiators. We watched part 2 of the doc. Was very, very confused as to why they decided to do 2 separate ones here.
Mm-hmm.
Feel like they could have knocked this all out in one.
Mm-hmm.
The second part is mainly about this search for the infamous Dan Carr, Apache Dan, as he is known.
They tracked him down.
They do track him down, and they get him on camera. And I got to say,
first question out of the gate to step in here. Hey, I read your book. Says that you wanted to kill, was that the guy's name?
Johnny Ferraro.
Says you wanted to kill Johnny. And he was like, basically like, yeah.
Not only did he want to,
like, yeah.
He had a plan and he went to do it.
Yeah.
He was going to kill him, which this whole thing, the more they were talking about Apache Dan and like just his whole scene and what he looked like, all I could think about was like, how did this guy not just kill Johnny Ferraro? Because he seems like, it seems not justified, but seems like he had a legit beef.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, he took him for a ride for sure.
The total run time of the 2 clocks in around 3 hours. Like that's a big undertaking, but I will say, like, had I been able to watch this, no commercials back to back, I probably would have stayed strapped in for the whole thing, consecutively, because they did take the long way a little bit to get to Apache Dan, but I walked away from it feeling like I know about as much as I could reasonably expect to know about what that scene was about, like what that viewing experience was, and then kind of the ramifications. One thing they didn't mention, we talked about this last week, Thunder, blonde guy who was pretty badly injured during one of the events, so much so that he's like on pain meds and pretty debilitated as he's doing his interviews during the filming of this. He passed away in 2021. And they don't even hit that or even add like a in memory of afterwards.
That's weird. I was fully expecting that
at
the end, like a where are they now type deal.
I think a little bit of that has to do with the timing of they probably recorded this right during or right pre-pandemic, gets lost in the mix, gets bought by somebody, and ESPN just put it out really with not much support besides like, hey, by the way, here's a documentary.
They could have sent that to
I
Randy.
thought this was very great.
Put up a little graphic real quick. Didn't seem like it would have taken very long, but yeah, that's news to me. I'm glad you added that. I left this really, really wanting to know more about Malibu.
Mm-hmm.
Because
why he has a roommate in a bunk bed?
Okay, we find out at the end he did get remarried. Oh yeah, KJ Malibu.
I haven't finished.
The Malibu. What did I just say? Malibu. I just botched a word. The Malibu story is a wild ride. Post Gladiator life. Tried to get into some other stuff. I kind of thought they were going to say he became like a Chippendales dancer or maybe even dabbled in the adult industry. They didn't. But he does look like the kind of guy that would be into that. Does he not?
He's the one that started as that, though. He did that before American Gladiators. He was
was that his
Chippendales
deal?
Pre-Gladiators.
Well, there you go.
But
he didn't have
after
to go
the
back
fact,
to it.
he got like some extras roles in random late 80s, early 90s movies. I thought that was respectable.
It was.
Like post-career work for the guy.
That dude has maintained peak physical condition his entire life. He still looks. He's got just the cables in his biceps still. I don't know how old he is by now, but
yeah, he's probably on that dude. TRT.
Yeah,
but that's okay.
Yeah,
look, you earned it, man. Whatever gets you through. In the end, I'm not really sure what level of scumbag Johnny Ferraro is. It's really up in the air. There's a lot of people who they defend him, but they don't like go to the mat for him. But they're like, look, this is the deal. Johnny just made some bad business moves. Eventually, he had to file for bankruptcy. KJ, I don't know if you saw or Dylan. I think you saw it. The most beaten down part was after they canceled Gladiators after 7 seasons. Well, there's 2 really.
Orlando.
They go to Orlando and have the dinner theater with the Gladiators, which is one of the most bizarre things ever. And just I can't even imagine what kind of clientele would go to that. It's like medieval times, but without the tournament, which is with Gladiators.
Wow.
I'm glad you said medieval times because all that I could think of is like overspending at Magic Time Machine, which isn't really even a theater, but it's like the dress up. My waiter was Jasmine from Aladdin, and like, you know, the room was painted and blah, blah, blah. Food sucked and drinks were overpriced. Like that's all I kept thinking of, like the Pulp Fiction situation where like everything is just kind of in the vibe, but it makes a lot more sense if you're going to actually get a little bit of a show in addition to, you're going to get a joust and a steak.
If you're not, I don't know if Magic Time Machine is a chain, but if you're not from Dallas, then Magic Time Machine is a restaurant where each waiter's dressed up like a different Dick Tracy or some shit. Or like, oh, my waitress was Little Bo Peep. I don't know if Little Bo Peep's one. Oh, I had Woody from Toy Story bring me my fucking nachos.
That sounds sick.
I went once in high school. The food sucks and it is way the fuck out there. It was like North Plano or something.
Is it still open?
I don't know.
Jack Sparrow. I think by the looks of the internet, you still have one in Richardson, which I believe that's the one that I went to.
Oh yeah, Richardson.
And San Antonio, still alive and kicking. But I'm sure those exist around the country.
All I can say is be glad there's not one in Austin because a certain producer would absolutely want to go there. Randy, this place is
tailor made for Randy.
It's a layup. It's a layup company dinner for Randy.
San Antonio's an option.
That's too far. We'll take a party bus to Magic Time Machine.
Do it for Randy.
Meet up.
Mr. Meet Up at the Time Machine. God. Yeah, worth watching if you haven't watched it. Maybe. The first part's great nostalgia. The second part, it gets a little depressing, not as depressing as it could have been. But, you know, I completely forgot that they tried to reboot this deal with Hulk Hogan hosting. And that's where the meme lord, Mike O'Hearn, guy, the darling of memes right now, got his start. Bodybuilding, and then he was like the face of the reboot.
I just looked it up. Apparently, he was in the original series too as Thor.
He was an alternate. You're right,
and
Randy.
then in the revival, he was Titan.
Do you know that?
Never known.
I didn't know.
Never known.
That's interesting. It's almost like he's dabbling in the Cum universe.
Okay.
Like
cinematic universe of Marvel.
Fuck, I'm sorry I stepped all over that.
That's okay.
This is definitely kind of one of those things where if you're getting your tonsils out at a late in life age and you've got the extra few hours, turn it on. That's my recommendation for. I don't know if I'm running out and seeing it, especially if you're younger. If you're like 25 and under and you have no idea what this is, I don't know that the first one does a good enough job of selling you just how incredible television this was. But if you have any idea of what American Gladiators was, like, I think for sure the first one will get you into it. The second one's just kind of a good, like you said, good dramatic follow-up.
Well said. Well said. If you're getting your tonsils out, check it out.
I couldn't think of any like procedure in which somebody's bedridden. Wisdom teeth is probably more accurate.
Time to party. This is the part of the podcast where we talk sports and party at the same time. Saquon holding out? Missing them mini camps. Just saying.
Is he in a position to hold out?
Yeah.
Is he?
You can hold out.
Did he have a strong 2022?
Oh, no, I mean, his numbers are down. But,
yeah.
You know, he sees the way. He sees that running backs are getting a franchise tag left and right.
Oh,
and
I'm
not
of the
getting paid.
opinion every running back should hold out at least once in their NFL careers.
Agree. It worked for your favorite player, Emmitt Smith.
Very short career.
He said he won't be playing in 10 years, which is not a shocker. He shouldn't be.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my thought.
Okay. All right.
That's good.
And whatever I was going to get into is going to be like way more suited for deep into the football season.
Hey, how about this Messi deal?
It says it's a cool deal.
It is a cool deal. I was looking more into it. Like it's, you know, because he had like $1 billion offer from Saudi Arabia, and he won't make as much on this, but Apple put in a little bit, and he's gonna get a cut of the streams because Apple has the rights to all the MLS games on their streaming platform. And he's getting some ownership interest potentially. It's a good deal.
Really exciting if you're an MLS fan who lives in the U.S. You might get a chance to see Messi play without having to get on a plane and fly overseas. You know, it's pretty cool.
I look forward to spending $600 to sit in the upper deck of whatever the fucking stadium here is. What is
Q2?
it? Q2. To watch Messi in a couple years.
I know they don't play next year in Austin, but I don't know after that what it looks like. Is it in a couple years they come here?
I don't know.
Okay.
Looks like earliest opportunity might be late July. So our listeners in Atlanta, Charlotte, New York, Nashville, L.A. will all have a shot. Kansas City as well. But yeah.
Okay.
No Dallas, no Austin.
That's okay. We'll get there. Mea culpa from KJ.
Yeah, real quick update. It looks like U.S. players, as you mentioned, Brooks, would be eligible for the Ryder Cup. Euro players, not so much quite yet. So that, you know, the Euros get a lot of shit wrong.
Damn, I really wanted to watch Lee Westwood.
College baseball note here. Last night I watched Stanford pitcher Quinn Matthews throw 156 pitches in a complete game W against Texas. A lot of pitches, 16 strikeouts. It was his third outing in 9 days. I think the coach is going to get some criticism for this, and I think it's probably pretty justified. But the kid was freaking nasty.
Can't take him out with that stuff.
He tops out about 92, 93, 94, somewhere in there. So he has a good fastball, not a great one. A devastating slider, and one of the best change-ups from a left-hander I've seen in a long time. The dude's really nasty. So hat tip to that guy. The coach, not so much. Wake Forest absolutely mashes. They advanced to the College World Series by beating Alabama 22-5 in their second game.
Sheesh.
9 home runs.
9 home runs.
Texas tonight?
Texas game.
The rubber match.
Deciding game 3 is tonight.
Horned Frogs made it through too.
They did.
TCU, shout out. First collegiate team to go playoffs in three sports, basketball, because they were in the tournament. And then obviously national championship game didn't go well.
Yeah.
Didn't go well, but they got there, and that's important.
This Quinn Matthews guy, I forgot to mention, he was drafted last year, 19th round, decided to return for another season at Stanford. So, I mean, this is a legit prospect, too, that this coach is just it might turn out to be not a big deal at all, but that's a lot of pitches for a athlete.
My dumb guy brain thinks like, okay, well, if he's not, at least he's not throwing like upper 90s, which I think if you're low 90s, maybe you've got a little bit more room for longevity there and you're mixing it up. I don't know. But yeah, that is that's a lot of pitches.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. No one.
Dylan,
like
did you watching this, like, was it hard to like have an idea if he was going to come back out in the 8th and the 9th? Like, they were up by 5 runs in the 9th, and he did not have the look of somebody who's like, if you take me out, I'm going to lose my shit. Or like, he looked very, I mean, to his credit, looked very chill every time he went to the dugout. Like, he celebrated a little bit, but there were a couple times he put on the coat and I thought he was going to walk like,
yeah, there was a moment
to the dugout. I don't know.
I don't remember if it was the 8th or the 9th inning, but he had a visit out to the mound and I don't remember if it was the pitching coach or the head coach, but there was a conversation, and I think everyone expected the kid to get pulled at that point. He just given up a hit, maybe even a home run. They talked to the mound for 30 seconds to a minute, and then he was just like, "I'm not coming out." Coach was like, "All right," walked back to the dugout. I was like, "Oof, I don't know, man. You don't want to fuck with a kid's future like that." So hopefully he's okay. The kid's nasty though.
Yeah, it was a great watch. I almost tweeted at like 130 pitches. I was like, 130 pitches and counting.
It's a lot.
And then every time you look up, like, oh wait, shit, 140. Well, I guess he's gonna finish it out. He's got at least 4 more pitches to finish, and 155.
I looked it up. He had a couple starts this season where he threw a 120 plus, which is still a lot, but this is his first time, over 130, I believe. So 156, a lot of pitches. You want to run it back?
It's time to run it back.
The segment during which we talk about what we already talked about. It's podcast week. KJ has sleep apnea. Paiute Golf Course in Vegas is not pee friendly. Ever since baby Gronk decommitted from Texas, he's been dead to Dylan. Dave will hit some version of the gritty if you hit a big putt. KJ thinks "Oh Canada" is a spare national anthem. Slap shots just seem so dangerous. And finally, KJ recommends the American Gladiators Doc only if you just got your tonsils out and have a lot of time to kill. That concludes Run It Back.
Just a resounding endorsement for the doc. And shout out to the guys who put their life's work into it. And if I ever find myself in that position with my tonsils getting pulled, which I did hear is really, really bad if you're an adult,
yeah,
I will watch it again maybe.
Can't speak for like weeks.
Just eating popsicles and smoothies.
Something like that.
Fuck yeah. All right. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I want my chips with the dip. That's all I know. I don't want my chips plain. I want my chips with the dip. So bring them dips.
My team wins a big game.